Welcome back to my channel. I am your favorite mother of three, Bougie Vintage, and today's video is get ready with me, and I wanted to talk about obviously the Free Britney movement because free our good sis Brit. I honestly can't even. I feel like I don't even know where to start with this whole situation. So if you've been living under a rock, then this is all news to you. But if you are up to date with pop culture and news, then you know a little bit about the Free Britney movement. I honestly didn't really know much about it until I watched the documentary. But ever since I watched it, I was like, oh my god. At that point, it was kind of just surface level and fan based, and like it started off as a podcast, right? These two girls that were diehard Britney fans kind of just started to try to decipher her Instagram posts like the freaking Da Vinci Code, okay? And they were onto something. And then it kind of just grew into a whole movement for Britney because she's a part of something called a conservatorship. It came out in February, and I think I watched it the same week it came out. So, but if you have not watched it, please go watch it. There's so much stuff that we really just had no idea about. Now, Britney herself was not even able to be part of the documentary. So everything that we were being told in the documentary was like third party and stuff that was like alleged. Not only that, but also the reason I say it was surface level is because yesterday Britney finally spoke out on her own accord, thank God. And she let the world know that what happened or what they were saying in the documentary was not BS, but also that it's much worse than what the documentary was able to tell us about. I have on my Free Britney shirt today. It's so ironic that I even had this shirt laying around because I bought it obviously after I watched the documentary, but I didn't know that she was having a court hearing yesterday. And so I just happened to have the shirt. I mean, free Brit till it's backwards, honey. What they're doing to Britney is so bad. It's so sad. And like, literally when I was listening to her speak to the judge, there's a 23-minute audio that's on all over YouTube. I'll link it below. Literally, I was crying when I was listening to her speak. And I just feel so bad for her. And I'm so heartbroken for her because she definitely does not deserve what's happening to her. And I think this is stuff that gets overlooked a lot with child stars, and Britney was definitely in the child star category. And there's actually a video on YouTube I was watching the other day by the little girl that used to dance in Missy Elliott videos. Her name's Allison. She did a video the other day for YouTube that talked about the toddler to train wreck pipeline, and that's another video I encourage everybody to go and see, especially people that are like interested in getting their kids into like modeling and stuff or acting. I really encourage people to go and see that video and hear what Allison had to say, because there's so many things that could be avoided, and we see it so often, especially with the Disney stars, and I guess even some Nickelodeon child stars, especially the girls. There's always some kind of weird stuff going on behind the scenes. Once they get to like an adult stage, we kind of see them deteriorate. And that's the same thing with like somebody like Amanda Bynes, who at the height of her career, she was just a child and she had so much success, but now when we see her, she's looking all sorts of a mess. It's like, could these things have been avoided, and what traumas happened during the childhood that sparked or triggered the downfall during their grown-up years? Demi Lovato, same thing, constantly in and out of rehab, constantly on and off of substances. Definitely a pattern that people are always overlooking. Macaulay Culkin is like literally 90% of child stars go through crazy traumas while they're in their careers. The difference with them and somebody like Britney is now, she's pushing 40 and she has zero control over her life. However, the people that are in control of her life, from what the heck she eats every day to how much money she can spend, if she can spend any money, if she can see her kids, everything is contingent on what she does for them and if she listens to the instructions they give her. They hang stuff over her head and they tell her she can't have this or do that if she doesn't comply with their rules. I'm so sorry about the gum. I'll spit it out soon. Oh my god, I feel so bad for her because the way that they're doing her is so unfair. Now, obviously, the main person that she has an issue with is her father, because he's the one that had been or is technically still in charge of her conservatorship, and she's constantly under watch. One of her biggest complaints in the audio was that she's not even allowed to go in her boyfriend's car if he's driving. She has to have a driver or personnel with her 24/7. She doesn't even have the privacy or comfort of staying at her house by herself. You know how annoying that is when you just want to be alone and you can't be alone? A part of her speech to the judge likened what she's experiencing to human trafficking, sex trafficking, because she's not even allowed to use her own credit card. She has no access to her money. She has no say in what she does. They decide everything for her. Now, when you look at Britney's Instagram, before these girls started to decode it, when you looked at her Instagram, and even now if you look at it, you could tell that something was clearly off, but Britney kept saying, no, she's fine, or she would leave like cryptic messages. And so her fan base were on it, okay? They were on it. They were not going to rest, and they realized, no, this is not right. Something is going on here. That is, I think, a big reason why we're even seeing Britney brought any justice. So big shout out to the fans, because without her fan base, she would definitely not even been able to speak her mind yesterday and bring it to everybody's attention that she is in an abusive situation. Her family, her conservatorship, and everything going on behind the scenes. She even says she wants to sue her family because of the stuff that they're putting her through. And if you watch the documentary, her brother's actually in the documentary, and he even is stating that she's been wanting to get out of this thing for the longest time. Britney has been working her butt off since she was a child, literally. And I remember when Britney first came out, I was in elementary school, obviously, but I remember big like hype and craze around her, and something even as a child never sat right with me about Britney. And so I was never a diehard Britney fan because, I don't know, it was just like a feeling. I don't know how to explain it, but when I was a kid and all my friends were like big on Britney Spears, I was not. I just wasn't comfortable with Britney from the very beginning. It's strange that a little girl would feel that way, especially when all of the other little girls were idolizing her. But something just didn't sit right with me about her and her song lyrics, and I don't know, it was just something inappropriate about it that stood out to me even at 8 years old, or maybe 7. I was so young. I was never really on the Britney bandwagon or fan page when I was a little girl. And then in 2007, 2008, when she really started to display her issues on the outside with the whole paparazzi thing, the umbrella, the bald head, when that started happening, I remember being in high school and everybody was making fun of Britney. It wasn't until I got older that I was like, oh my god, the poor girl. Like literally the poor girl. The way the media portrayed her when she had her psychotic episode, if we're gonna call it that, I don't really even know what to call it. The way the media portrayed her back then was that she was crazy, but nobody was taking accountability. Nobody knew what was going on behind the scenes. Nobody knew that she had been going through so many issues with her dad, with her family, with her kids, or the custody between her and that crazy man Kevin Federline. Like, Britney literally could not catch a break, and to this day she still, 12 years 13 years later, she still cannot catch a break. And it's so unfair that this grown-ass woman has to live her life like a literal slave. This is why we have to pay attention to what we say, when we say it, how we say it. The power of the tongue is real. And I say that because Britney has a song called I'm a Slave for You, and right now, and for the last 12 years, not even for the last 12 years, but since the beginning of time, she's literally been a slave for the powers that be, or for her family, for her dad. She's been a slave. And then also now she's in an abusive conservatorship, and another song title of hers is Hit Me Baby One More Time. The reason TLC didn't take that song was because of those very lyrics. I just think it's a lot of irony, because why did they have a 16-year-old child singing that song? It's sick. The whole industry is a mess. It's actually disgusting. Like, if you watch conspiracy videos or anything like that, you see just how much of a mess it is. The Britney Spears story from the very beginning is a disturbing story, and it doesn't start with the conservatorship. It starts with her entry into the industry when she was a child, what they were having her doing, how much pressure they had her under, the fact that she had no parental guidance. She just had this lady that was chaperoning her. Honestly, what's happening with Britney is so crazy. I can't even begin to cover it in a video. Like, we'd be sitting here forever. I think one of the reasons she spoke out is because she wants people to be aware, because previously she had been saying that she was okay, nothing was wrong, nothing was amiss, but now she's stating that she was in denial, and that she said those things because she was in denial. Nobody would want to accept the fact that their family is abusing them, but literally a conservatorship is used for people that literally cannot take care of themselves. Yet Miss Britney is taking care of everybody in her camp and then some. And she's being forced to do things like go to therapy, which therapy, in my opinion, is great. Everybody needs therapy. But she's forced to attend these therapy sessions regularly with people she does not know or trust. And she even tells us that one of the doctors that she was seeing who died, and she said when he died, she got on her knees and thanked God. And there's probably a lot of people that can relate to that. Not necessarily a doctor, but sometimes if you're going through something and say it's with an abuser and you find out that your abuser has passed away, you rejoice a bit because, well, one, you don't have to deal with them anymore, but two, you get a sense of relief. For Britney, that's what she was experiencing, and she's not sorry about it. And I'm so happy she's not sorry about it. What he did was have her medicine changed and had multiple nurses in her house, and he prescribed her lithium, which is used in people with bipolar disorder. Britney has not said that she has bipolar disorder, and neither has her family, but she was on lithium and it's very, very strong, and she was saying she couldn't even hold a conversation when she was on that medicine. She could do nothing. She was literally a zombie or paraplegic almost, where she was just basically sit there and watch paint dry. You know what I mean? The amount of stuff that she shared in court yesterday was really mind-blowing and an eye-opener, because she's definitely not alone. There's definitely people that are in conservatorships that should not be, but her case in particular is really important that they get her out of it, because she is footing the bill for a whole bunch of people, staff, parents, their lifestyles. She's footing the bill for all of that stuff against her own will. And she's being forced to work and do these things, yet they're saying she's unfit to handle her own money. She's unfit to take herself to the store, even if she were to have a security guard. Like, they have made her life extremely complicated, and she is literally paying for all of it. It's not like her conservatorship is footing the bill for this. No, she is footing the bill for her conservatorship. And in turn, I think the best way to put this is that a conservatorship is for like an old person that cannot manage their own money, that cannot hire people to do everyday things. Maybe somebody that cannot talk, somebody that is bedridden, somebody that can't get up and go to work every day. And they literally have forced her to perform on 7-day work weeks, no breaks, 10-hour days, sometimes longer. There's no days off for Britney. And it is so unfair. Unacceptable! And what blows me is the fact that she brought this to the court's attention before and they ignored her. Except at that time, she wasn't attending court and she wasn't speaking out for herself. She had a lawyer. And even that, like before, the conservatorship was in charge of her legal team. And the people that were representing her conservatorship were also representing her. There was a whole conflict of interest. Like, this whole thing is problematic and not okay in the least. So if Britney Spears was an old, like, crippled lady that couldn't get around on her own and, you know, didn't make smart decisions, or, you know, if she was literally incapable of living her life by herself, I could understand her being in a conservatorship for the length of time that she's been in one. But for the simple fact that these people make her get up and go to work against her will all the time and basically abuse the power that they have over her without a care in the world of how she feels and how she's doing, I think it speaks volumes to the justice system, and also to the fact that your family does not always have your best interest at heart. A lot of the time, people are going to want you to do what benefits them and not about your mental health and what benefits you. And then throw in the freaking pandemic and we have a whole pot of poop stew. Because in her speech, she mentioned the fact that they had lied to her and told her that she could not go out and just do some self-care stuff that would make her feel happy, or, you know, getting her hair done, getting her nails done. They told her that she can't. Meanwhile, all the staff at her house, they were coming with their nails done every week, and she's seeing this and she's like, why are these people lying to me? Why are they trying to keep me in here to worsen my mental health when they need to be helping me? Especially if I'm supposed to get up and go to work every day, perform at my Las Vegas residency. And then on top of that, she begged them to let her have her psychiatrist visit her at her home where it's safe. Because as we all know, she has an issue with the paparazzi, and she's had this issue with the paparazzi since before she broke down in 2007. So why the hell would they make her go to somewhere that is so out in the open when she's requested to not go through that? Because it hurts her, it doesn't help her. That's all she was really trying to get the judge to understand. Like, this is making my mental health deteriorate being a part of this stupid conservatorship. My father is an ignorant man. I want to sue my family. They think I'm capable enough to work, but I'm not capable enough to spend the money or, you know, spend my time how I want to spend my time. I have to work or I can't get the basic needs that I require. I'm like all over the place with this because I'm so irritated with the whole entire thing. I think earlier on I had mentioned high school, and then I think Belle came in and I got sidetracked. In high school is when we first witnessed, or when I was in high school is when we first witnessed Britney going through mental health issues. But the ignorance of that time, we didn't realize she was having a mental breakdown because we don't know what's going on. All we knew is what the media had said, and what the media was saying was that she lost her damn mind. Nobody gave a why. Nobody cared to even know why. If they were reporting it, nobody cared about the why. They just cared about the fact that she tried to hit somebody's car with an umbrella and she walked into a barber shop and shaved her head. That's all we knew. Nobody cared to know the truth about why that was happening. People do not just randomly wake up and decide to do stuff like that. And so that's when the rumors started. And she had already had enough scrutiny and been through enough in the media because, one, even to this day, people look at celebrities and think celebrities should be raising their kids, but that's not the case. Britney Spears became a role model by default. Once you're a young girl and you have a platform, people start to look up to you, and it's not your fault that they're looking up to you. So if you come out and you're overly sexualized, people, parents, especially in the 90s, are gonna be offended by that. And, you know, rightfully so, but you also as a parent have to be controlling what your kids watch. I talk about this all the time now that I'm a parent. I literally sit and see what my kids are watching on their iPads, even though it's just kids YouTube, because I have caught programs on kids YouTube that is not okay. And I'm like, what is this? In the 90s, I'm sure a lot of that was happening. Britney had already been getting scrutinized for her image, but her parents, to me, they were to be blamed because that was their 16-year-old daughter and they were letting her wear that tiny little skirt. She was dressed up as a schoolgirl, which is a fetish for porn and for some creeps out there. She was dressed up as a schoolgirl in the music video, singing suggestive or provocative lyrics, and she was just a kid at the time. And other little girls are then seeing this and imitating what they see on the TV. And so in the 90s, from the very beginning, even though she had a huge fan base and a huge following, a lot of parents were scrutinizing her, especially the moms, the Karens of that generation. They were definitely coming for her head top, because it was like, what the hell is this that you guys are putting on the TV? Dealing with that, and it's just never ending. You're getting blamed for things that are not your fault. And Justin Timberlake situation, like, oh my god, this is why you have to watch the documentary. Because when I watched the documentary and I saw how that whole thing played out between her and Justin, I was so disgusted. Now, we already knew Justin Timberlake was pretty much trash based on how they did our sis Janet, but the Britney documentary really kind of sheds a real bright light on just how trash Justin Timberlake was at that time. Now in 2021, well, on behalf of him and his wife Jessica Biel, he has released a statement about the Britney situation, which to me, I feel like he should have probably just sat there and ate his food, because now they're dragging him for filth because he was a part of the problem. But we don't know if he's called Britney personally and apologized to her, even though he cannot undo what he did. That's why it's important for people to watch the documentary, because he went on a radio station shortly after they broke up. He said things that he shouldn't have said. Granted, at the time they were both young and he was definitely hurt. And like a lot of, how do you say, a lot of men, insecure men do, is dog the woman that they were in a relationship with. But the Crimea River era made everybody turn their back on Britney Spears, and Britney didn't really say anything at that time. And so years and years and years, even probably up until 2021, you probably are still at home thinking that they broke up because Britney Spears cheated on him, XYZ, when that's not really what happened. For him to say something now is like, Chabu, just shut your mouth. Shut your mouth and mind your business. Go raise your children. Like, why are you here? In the famous words of Jocelyn Hernandez, oh, why is you here? Why does this look like I never used this? I don't think I ever have. And it's so pretty. This is Mo Honey. It looks like I only used it one time. I didn't even know I had it, child. I picked it up like, I don't know these colors. Anyway, being the fact that Justin Timberlake was a big part of the Britney Spears downfall, a lot of people are dragging him for filth. You know, I don't believe in fighting fire with fire these days. So I don't necessarily think that that's the right thing to do. But I get why people are saying what they're saying, and I get why they're mad at Justin for opening his trap after all this time. There are so many layers to this whole entire Britney situation, but I think one of the biggest things that is setting people off right now is the fact that Britney had said that she wanted to expand her family and have more children, especially because the situation with her husband / baby father went so sour so fast, and the relationship with her kids got messed up in the process, and the whole custody drama. She just wanted a chance probably to start over with somebody that actually loves her, cares about her, and she wants to have more kids. But as per her conservatorship, they have taken it to the extreme of all extremes, and they will not allow her to go to a doctor to get her IUD removed so that she can procreate. This takes women's rights to a whole new level, okay? I have never in my life heard of a woman being prevented of going to the doctor to get her IUD removed. Had it been me, child, I would put my fingers up there and snatch that thing out any which way I could. Probably not safe to do, but I would probably be at my breaking point if I had an IUD and then people were trying to prevent me from taking it out. Like, who are you? Who are you to be doing that? It's weird. It's sick. it's disturbing, it's inappropriate, it's not okay. And so she doesn't even have the right to her own body. They're telling her she cannot get married. She's not allowed to get married. And so if a judge can look at this case and not throw this conservatorship out without her having to go get evaluated, because that's basically what they've been doing to prolong the conservatorship. They keep making her have to go get an evaluation done with people that they're obviously paying, or people that they are going to say, okay, we don't agree that she needs to come out of the conservatorship because, well, she's footing the bill and paying for their lifestyle. So obviously her father or her sister or her brother or her mother is gonna say, no, we don't think that she's fit enough to come out of the conservatorship. And that's what she's saying. She's saying that if you ask them, they're gonna make me do an evaluation when I'm clearly talking to you today and I know what I'm saying. I have 4 pages here and I'm letting you know I want out and I do not need another freaking evaluation. This is ridiculous. It's gone on too long. I don't get it. I'm working my butt off. I'm paying for everything, but I don't have access to my wallet. Girl, what? Unacceptable! You guys are giving me stipulations on, okay, you can go here, you can see your kids if you perform tonight. Unacceptable! What? Run that by me again? No. Absolutely not. Unacceptable! I can't even begin to express how angry I was listening to her talk, because it was one thing to watch the documentary and feel bad for her, but it's another thing to sit there and listen to Britney say everything that she's been going through, and it's not even scratched the surface. Like, this is a minuscule part of what she's really been going through and really gone through. This is just the freaking tip of the iceberg, so to speak. And my concern for Britney Spears is really gonna stem from after she's released from the conservatorship. And so I want to talk about that, but I will be right back. So what I think is pretty clear is that her family, mainly her dad, will stop at nothing to get his way. The main problem with that is that we cannot ignore patterns in people's behavior, because they have slowly been killing this girl. I think before her conservatorship even ends, I just hope that all of her ducks are in a row in terms of her assets, her trust. Like, I hope that all that stuff gets squared off before the conservatorship ends, because what I see happening, if you watch American Greed or even Forensic Files, if you watch anything like that, you know that people do a whole lot of crazy for the love of money. If they're planning on stripping away the control of Britney's assets from the people that have control of it, if that's the case and these people are in Britney's will or anything of the sort, or if she has a life insurance policy taken out in her name for millions of dollars on end, I could definitely see this going super south real fast if they end the conservatorship and these people are still listed on her will, because then they have motive, and that is the last thing that we need. Obviously it would be very obvious, but I think that before her conservatorship ends, everything needs to be filed and in writing. Who is going to be allocated what, and they should be allocated nothing. Okay, her will should be to her kids and her kids only, and not her father, mother, sister, brother, because the fact of the matter is they've clearly been using her and abusing her, and if she is about to win the rights to her life back, I think she needs to be protected at all costs. If it's possible to get rid of any life insurance policies that include the people that have abused her, that it should be done yesterday, okay? Because there is absolutely no telling what these people are capable of or what they will do to further hurt this girl if she wins the rights to her life back. That doesn't even sound right. Like, what am I saying? What am I saying? How do you lose the rights to your life unless you're in jail? Then you're stripped of your rights. But even in jail, they have more rights than Britney Spears, which is mind-boggling. You tell me how that's humanly possible to have your rights stripped away right from under you when you are fully able and capable of fending for yourself. How do they get away with this for so long? Like, this lady lives in a house where she can't even use a vibrator probably because there's so many people living there. She has no privacy, not when she's in her house and not when she freaking leaves her house. And I don't think there's anything more frustrating than that. From the beginning of time, they set this lady up to lose. Lost her kids, lost her, like, her mind. And I'm really sitting here trying to figure out how any of this was ever okay. But I really got lost when she said that they will not let her take out her IUD. I really feel like the bigger issue with this whole Britney thing, this is like a human rights issue, human rights violation. This is not small fry. It's not regular. I mean, we see crazy stuff with the industry all the time. We see people stuck in crazy contracts trying to get out, but only a few times have we seen anything as crazy as this. I mean, this is like next to Michael Jackson and how volatile his relationship was with Joe Jackson and that kind of dictatorship over one's life. Granted, Michael Jackson obviously was not a woman, and so it's a little bit different, but it's definitely mirroring some of the same aspects of that relationship between a father who is also your manager or a momager like Lindsay Lohan and her mom. Time and time again, we see in the industry these child stars struggle back and forth with the parent manager dynamic, but this takes it to a whole deeper level because this is about Britney's livelihood at this point. They're threatening her and they might as well be beating her with a stick every night. They're holding this woman hostage. So needless to say, the entire conservatorship is wrong, immoral, and they need to free Britney, period. Like, free my good sis. I don't understand why it's even in question. I don't understand why she has to even go to court to say XYZ. I mean, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure out the fact that this lady is in a situation that she doesn't need to be in. She is a full-grown, capable woman. She should not have somebody dictating over her uterus. If she wants to expand her family, she has every right to do so. Nobody should be able to tell another grown woman that she cannot get married unless it's her husband telling her, you cannot get married to another man because you're married to me. Like, what? I don't understand how this is going on and going on for so long. And everybody's just like, doo-doo-doo, doo-doo-doo. Like, the judge, all the judge needs to do is put on that Britney documentary and see that this is clearly not an okay situation. It's not normal. Britney deserves better. She deserves better. Not just as a woman, but as a human being. She deserves better. And the media and the paparazzi and everybody that was complicit in Britney's demise, they need to be held accountable, period. Britney, she never caught a break. Literally, there's a song lyrics about Britney. Like, Lil Wayne said, I'm married to that crazy bitch, call me Kevin Federline. Like, we love Wayne, but like, sir, why did you go say that? But all Wayne knew was what the media was saying, that what we see is not always what it is. This is definitely a teachable moment. Britney has been, like I said, scrutinized since the beginning of time based around her image and who she was. People didn't really see past the little skirt and the tied top, you know, the little schoolgirl outfit. They didn't see past that. All they saw was this raging sex symbol. People were waiting for her to turn 18 so she could be legal. Like, this girl has been, like she said, is traumatized, and she has every right to be or feel this way. She never got a childhood, and now she's not even getting an adulthood. Can you imagine? I personally could not put myself in Britney's shoes, even if I tried, because there's nobody telling me how to live my life every single day. There's nobody, like, you know, making me do anything that I don't want to do. There's nobody holding me against my will. There's nobody telling me I can't see my kids if I don't do this and that. And to me, that's like, there's a lot of parts of her story that really sit with me, and like, I feel extra bad about it because I'm a mom, and I just couldn't imagine that somebody wouldn't allow me to see them or go visit them if I don't do X, Y, and Z first. That's not cool. That's really my stance on it. I'm sure there's a lot of things that I forgot to say. Let me know in the comment sections below how you are feeling about it, if this is your first time hearing about it, or yesterday was your first time hearing about it when she finally spoke up. Let me know in the comment section below. I love you all so much, and I'll definitely see you in the next one.